What's up, y'all? It's Mr. Ernest Krim III, your favorite Black history teacher, coming right back at you with another Black history fact of the day. Check this out, y'all. We just celebrated Malcolm X's 95th birthday. And I love Malcolm X. That's King Malcolm, right? But I got a big problem. Not too many people were actually celebrating Malcolm X's birthday. And it's not our fault. Not too many people actually know it was Malcolm X's birthday. But everybody knows when Dr. King's birthday is coming around. Now, shout out to Dr. King. I love Dr. King as well. But I believe firmly that Malcolm X should be celebrated just as much as Dr. King here in America. Now, the first reason we need to celebrate Malcolm X more is because his story is just more relatable. It connects with more people. It's not perfect, and he never wanted it to appear to be perfect. Check this out. Malcolm X lost his father at the hands of the KKK when he was young. His father was murdered. His father was an outspoken man himself. He was a Garveyite. His mother couldn't recover from it. She was clinically insane. She was taken away from the home. Malcolm dropped out of middle school, primarily because he couldn't focus, primarily because a teacher spoke not life but spoke death over him. Malcolm said he wanted to be a lawyer. His teacher told him, "You can't do that. You a N-word. You should be a carpenter. Use your hands instead." But Malcolm was the most intelligent person in that class. He dropped out. What did he do? He began to resort to a life of crime. Malcolm X is arrested by the time he's 20 years old. But we know how the story turns out. That's why it's so inspiring, because we're able to see somebody who went through so many different things, had to overcome so many different obstacles to be the great man that he was before he was unfortunately assassinated. The second reason why we need to celebrate Malcolm X is because he taught Black pride and Black love. Let's backtrack a little bit. When Black folks were enslaved in this country, the reason why it was able to persist for so long is because on one hand, you had Black people who were convinced, who were brainwashed into believing they were inferior. On the other side, you had white people who were brainwashed and convinced that they were superior. So you have these two things working hand in hand. Black people created the foundation for wealth for this entire country. Without our unpaid slave labor, there is no America, point blank, period. But in order for us to get this unpaid slave labor done for them, we had to buy in to this inferiority complex. So we had to believe that we were 3/5 of a person. We had to believe that we were not the all men that were created equal, that was written in the Declaration of Independence. And again, like I said before, white people had to believe it too. But it wasn't just during slavery. When slavery ends, the Jim Crow era, for the next 100 years, same thing. Movies, plays, ad campaigns are all producing these same images that show us as being less than, because we know we're really not deep down inside, but deep down inside we want to be accepted because we don't want to die. Malcolm X challenged that notion. He challenged the fact that Black people would get lynched, there'd be no justice, and Black people who thought they were inferior, and Black people who would perm their hair, and Black people who would want to have European features like lighter skin or a slender nose. He said, "Who taught you to even hate yourself? You looking at me like I'm the enemy for speaking this pride and speaking this resistance, but in fact, your position, your desolate condition is based on the person who also convinced you that you were less than a human being. Who taught you to hate yourself? He taught us about how great Africa was. He taught us about how great we were, period. Matter of fact, when you say his name, you're speaking and learning history already, because check it out. Malcolm X, that last name, that X signified to him when he was in the Nation of Islam that he did not know what his real last name was, because it was taken away when his ancestors were taken from Africa and forced to come and work as slaves. This is really important, y'all, because group success starts with the individual. It starts with the person. It starts with you having a positive self-image and loving yourself. Otherwise, all those accolades, all that so-called success doesn't really mean anything if all you are offering to this world is being a replica. Or as Tom Morrell says, you're just out here trying to be a dark-skinned white person. No, we need to be ourselves. We need to add our own Africanness, our own Blackness to this society, because we have to demand that they appreciate us, because we ain't going nowhere and we are who we are. So love yourself like Malcolm loved us. And the third thing we can learn from Malcolm is this: exposure leads to evolution. See, when Malcolm left the Nation of Islam the last couple years of his life, he began to travel around the world. He went to Egypt, he went to Mecca, and he began to see for the first time in his life people who did not look like him, that prayed with him, had the same religion as him, and treated him as an equal. See, growing up in America, of course, what he was exposed to was like most of the white people in his life were evil. They were bogus. But over here in this country, he was able to see white people who actually treated him fairly. So in his mind, he's like, yo, I still have this black nationalist mindset. I still want equality and equity and justice for black people. But now I understand that I can probably make some partnerships with people across the world and actually create stronger bonds to achieve my goal. See, Malcolm wasn't just about achieving justice for black people in America. He was on a global scale. He was about going to the United Nations to get justice. See, without having that exposure though, Malcolm doesn't evolve again. So the question then for you is, what do you need to expose yourself to evolve to your highest self? So with that said, what action will you take to make history today? Do it for Malcolm.